You see that? Book's finally out. I've been talking to like everyone in my life I know about this book and about how excited I was for today and to be finally able to read it. And now it's out. And I'm kind of scared because everyone's been having like these huge theories about what this book will be about. When you learn about the world of Panem, and I'm just like, it's a Hunger Games book. I do have some theories, but they're more to do with like the general structure of the book and what we'll have to expect going forward in the world of Panem. So theory number one, this will have a similar structure to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, wherein the first half will be about the actual Hunger Games, so parts one and two, and then the second half will be about life after the games. So in Ballad, this was about Snow becoming a peacekeeper and going to District 12, and in this one, I mean, I guess it will be about the God's I'm sick. I guess this will be about the at least one other Hunger Game that Hamish will mentor, and we will see how the mentoring program evolved since the 10th Hunger Games. And a second theory I have is that we'll get a third prequel book. So we had the original trilogy with Katniss' story, and now we'll get three prequel books, a new trilogy about how the games evolved to become what we know at the 74th Hunger Games. I think the third book in the series will be about Finnick, and we'll see what actually happened to the victors, and how they were being treated, and also I believe the actual beginnings of the rebellion and how all of this came together. Because as we all know, Finnick was involved. So yeah, I should stop yapping and actually start reading the book. See you. I'll not see you on the other side. I will vlog my experience. See you in like half an hour, I guess. Okay, bye. Guys, it was just they just confirmed that Leonora Dove, the Hamish's girlfriend, she's Covey. I mean, we've been new, like the name Lenora Dove, and she's always referred to as Lenora Dove, just like Lucy Gray was. But still, they just confirmed that, and it's like page 10 or something. I mean, but also more importantly, confirmed on the same page, Hamish's family were rebels. I don't know how important that will be for the future, but I guess it's something to keep in mind. His father, just like Katniss' father, died in a mining accident, and Hamish just explained that there are rumors that it was no accident, that the Capitol, he was intentionally killed by the Capitol. But that would mean that his father still was a rebel, like even after the rebellion was long over. I think. I guess what this tells us is that there was never like a peaceful phase in Panem. There were always rebels. No one liked the capital at any point, and there was always resistance. Katniss was perhaps just too occupied with trying to survive to notice it. I mean, who can blame her? But like, I guess it's good to have confirmation. No matter how united a country seems, no matter how united a regime, especially a fascist regime, seems, there will always be resistance. You might just not know it. Sorry about the sudden change in location. Burdock? Katniss's dad was named Burdock? Are you serious? Okay, I mean, I guess. I guess there are worse names. You could be named Coriolanus. At least he's not named that. Yeah. If you've not read the book, Hamish was friends with Katniss' dad. And the book reviews it was like, well, Hamish had a friend named Burdock, and who was the one who took him into the woods for the first time. And when he sang all the Mockingjays, uh, you know, went silent and then picked up his tune. And I was like, is he Katniss? Is that supposed to be like a hint? And then Lenore Dove turns up, calls him cousin. I'm like, does this confirm that he is Covey and then Katniss is a descendant of the Covey? And then Hamish says, Burdock's Everdeen family. I'm like, okay. It was Burdock said like, wait, I'll get some bow and arrow from my hidden hideout. I'm like, okay, very subtle, Susan. I will continue reading. Sorry, I'm in the kitchen. I'm hungry. It's 6 in the morning. Alright, I hope I will be able to actually read like multiple chapters in one go before wanting to give an update. But Jesus Christ. Okay, so Lenore Dove is a Baird. So Maud Ivory's daughter. I should have looked at the family tree for the Covey because I do not remember at all. I remember them. I sort of remember the names, but that's about it. Clark Carmine is gay. I did not expect that, but I welcome it. And also Hamish, confirmed not homophobic. We love to see it. But that line of like, well, Clark Carmine and his boyfriend have to stay hidden from the peacekeepers, because same their kind of love is not permitted in Panem. And then Hamish being like, well, but I support the love even if Clark Carmine doesn't support mine. But the line, it kind of felt like, how in, it's not contemporary fantasy books, but like fantasy books written in the 2020s, where they just so desperately try not to offend anyone. And they want to include a queer character. Mostly it's gay character or a lesbian, and they just so desperately try not to offend anyone. Like the secret is revealed, the character is queer, and then the main character, usually a white woman, will be like, but I support them. I don't think that's bad, actually. Actually, we should all support any kind of love there is. Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. Probably wasn't intended that way. Also, the reason I recorded just now, Katniss's mother is named Eloise March, if I read that correctly. Wait, let me just. Asterid March. That's a better name than Burdock. I'm sorry. Yeah, but prettiest woman in the district and also richest woman. She had to have been down bad for Katniss's father. Like, oh my god. Yeah, so I just finished the second chapter, and yeah, goddamn, that was certainly something. So, Hamish's name wasn't originally drawn. He rebelled, and because of that was punished and put into the Hunger Games. It's kind of fun. Kind of interesting. Interested to see what Suzanne will do with this. I especially gods. I mean, I've been on film sets before. I've done live production before, but to have Plutarch. Also, Plutarch is here. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess District 12 wouldn't have a mentor. Maybe he's there, or he's just the director for the reaping in District 12, which would also be a possibility. But yeah, Plutarch is like a piece of shit. He just continually makes them repeat. Makes them perform their sorrow for the cameras. And no matter how many film sets it was all played. It was all fake. This is real. This is how propaganda works. Snow is already president. I forgot to mention that. He's already president. I would have really liked to see like Game Maker Snow. I guess he would have done like the first Quotaquel. Yeah. I really love this last like image that Susanna's crafted of him sitting in his crappy train in a prison cell, essentially, looking out at District 12 and seeing Lenora Dove standing on a hill in her red dress, and she screams. I love that. It's beautiful. And if I don't see that in a movie, I'm going to sue. I will continue reading and hopefully come back to you soon. Yeah, so that was a lot. Luella is dead. Before the games even started. So if you haven't read the book, and are just watching this video, so I can summarize it for you. The tributes are Haymitch and basically, as we all know, and then Wyatt, who works in gambling, and then Luelle, who is 13 years old and from the same. I believe Wyatt is as well. And the insane thing for me is like, I kind of expected the 50th Hunger Games to sort of not even resemble, but to essentially be what we see in the 74th Hunger Games. And it isn't, and honestly, that makes more sense. All the elements are there, like the parade, is the opening ceremony, that one's there. The training center was the old academy, where, you know, in Ballad of Songbirds and Snake, it's all kind of dilapidated and cheap. But yeah, and in the opening ceremony, the people are allowed to get like really close to the tributes. The organizers, I guess, they can't really control the horses. They're not tamed as well as they should be, and so they broke out and kind of caused a lot of chaos, especially the ones by District 12, and they crashed into District 6, and Luella died, which is insane because we don't know that. We didn't know that from the from Catching Fire, where Katniss and Peeta watch Haymitch's games. But then, even more insane, Haymitch kidnaps Luella's dead body and carries her to the end of the parade, right in front of President Snow, where he lays her on the ground and claps. You know, there's this theory going around that Haymitch was supposed to be the original Mockingjay, because, you know, has to take a tesseract, pour from the scene of District 12, goes into the woods to forage and to hunt, even. Has a younger sibling that they love above everything else, 16 years old, and also kind of rebellious, but also not really. I mean, this fits, this scene fits with that theory. He pulls off a huge stunt right in front of President Snow. It just shows that the Capitol is not all powerful. They cannot control everything, and their power has not been here from the start. They're just winging this, as we all do. I guess I should use the opportunity to just catch you up on speed on everything, I think. When they're in the train traveling to the Capitol, I know I jump back in the timeline, but the servant brings in sandwiches, and in the sandwiches they put in like small Pan paper flags. And if they don't include that detail in a movie, I'm going to sue. I know I said it before, but like, this is a fascist regime. This is a fascist government, and they're doing the same as like countries in our world where like just trying to have fun. I don't know if this says more about Pan Am or our world. Hold up. Varys is their mentor? I mean, I guess I never thought about the ages of all the victors from Catching Fire, but Jesus. So Varys won the 49th Hunger Games, and Max is also their mentor. So a bit of context. District 12 doesn't have a living victor, and so they get assigned victors from the other districts to be their mentors, which is insane. But District 12 this year has, I guess, luck because their mentors are Virus, one of the smartest women in Panem, probably, and Max. Oh my god. And Virus Arena was just a bunch of reflective surfaces. And she was the only one who figured out how it worked. That's cool. That's interesting. I like that. Yeah, we don't really know anything about Max. Also, BT is here. He has a son. BT tried to overthrow the capital, and that's why they reaped his son. And now BT is forced to mentor him and watch him die. But BT is wonderful as ever. I feel like BT is going to become my favorite Hunger Games character because he says it as it is, He's smart. He's actually really brave. He's realistic, but not like pessimistic realistic, as most realists are. This is fun. Also, earlier in the chapter, Haymitch looks at like a screen where they list all the names of all the tributes, and we now know all the names of all the tributes. And I don't know if this was done like on Suzanne's part because she was unhappy that she didn't mention all the tributes in the original trilogy. That we didn't really have that connection to them. That most of them were, as the capital intended, just nameless faces that will never have a real story. Or what I feel like probably was the intention, because there is a huge alliance currently being built between almost all of the districts. The capital saw that. They saw that as a safety risk, and after the 50th games, they will try to limit the contact the tributes have between each other, so the tributes from the different districts. And so, if you have like a screen that the tributes can look at, where they see the names of the others, they can form a connection to that with them. Because, when you have a face and a name, you already know a lot about that person. You already kind of, even unintentionally, feel connected to them. And so I wonder if they stop doing that to prevent alliances such as the one that's forming in this book right now from happening. I don't know. Sounds really interesting to me. Yeah, I'm currently on chapter 9, but already a quarter of the way into the book. Yeah, a quarter of the way done. And it's like almost 9. I am back in the kitchen, and Haymitch is in the presidential palace, I believe. Snow is almost dying because he just poisoned the guy responsible for the opening ceremony. And he doesn't even really know who he poisoned. Snow also knows Lenore Dove is a covey simply by hearing the name Lenore. It's fun and definitely not strange or crazy. I am very calm. Effie's here! Oh my god! I did not expect that! What makes this even funnier is I'm listening to the audiobook as I'm reading this, and it just, the narrator made it paused for a second, and then, exclaimed really loudly, Effie, and it was just like, what am I? Oh my god, this is so fun! So a bit of context. District 12 has a stylist, I already forgot his name, but he is a bit cuckoo banana pants, and so he didn't show up for the styling for the interviews. And Hamish's prep team, they're students, I guess, like fashion students, and one of them, Proserpina, I believe her name is, was so like, oh no, I will fail my course. This is so bad. And she called her sister. We don't learn her name. We don't learn her sister's name This is said, everything's gonna be fine. If they want to fail you, I know like the entire school board, so they can't do that. And then she shows up with like a whole wardrobe for the tributes because she doesn't want her sister to fail. I guess this is a good point to update you. This was not the only insane thing that happened. Luella, the District 12 girl that died, um, they cloned her, more or less. It's not actually cloning. So they took, oh my god. So Haymitch was taken to Snow's palace, because Snow wanted to, tell him, I'm going to punish you. If you don't die in the arena, I will kill your entire family, all of that. And then he presented to him a girl that looked like Luella, except that it isn't her, because Luella died. So what the Capitol did is they took a girl from District 11, like probably a traitor or the daughter of a traitor, and tortured her until she couldn't remember her own name. And then they changed her appearance and implanted like audio devices so that she actually thinks she's Luella. Or maybe she doesn't think it, but what she definitely does is constantly repeat that her name is Luella McCoy, which is, wow, fucked up. If you thought the Avoxes were insane on Suzanne Collins' part, this is something. This is something else. I guess we also know why Haymitch's family was killed now. It wasn't because he manipulated the force field to win. It was because of the stunt he pulled at the opening ceremony, and because we learn is they want to flood the arena and destroy it. I guess they find out he wanted to do that, and that's why they kill his family. They can't punish the victors, but they can punish their families. Also, you know how in Catching Fire, Haymitch seems to be just running around the arena, just only in one direction, seemingly tries to find something. Now we know what he wants to find. He's searching for a shaft that he can put gunpowder in to blow up a water tank to flood the arena to destroy it. So Haymitch gets 1 point from the game makers. The point system. And how in Catching Fire, Katniss and Peeta get 12 points each. And Katniss says, this never happened before, and it also never happened before that someone got 1 point. It did. At the previous Quarter Quell. That's actually really interesting. I liked it. I guess he did tell the Capitol that he hated them. He wanted them to die. And if he could, he would blow up the entirety of Panem, essentially. So, I don't know what he expected to happen. So the Hunger Games just started. 20 troopers are dead, amongst them one from District 12. It's fun. It's great. And I believe the entirety of District 9, if I understood it correctly, which is crazy. Anyway, I think I should summarize my thoughts, or just tell you read off all the notes before I get a lot more, hopefully. So before, now Effie's here, of course, before the interviews, her and Maisie Lee have like a really sweet moment where they correct each other's outfits and give each other tips on how to fix their makeup. So sweet. I love it. I love Effie. She's so great. Also Luella, the fake Luella, they call Lulu for simplicity's sake. She got a snake from their crazy stylist who turned up one day. I hope you don't hear that. And it just really reminds me of Lucy Gray. And also, Lulu, she's still alive. Like, the Hunger Games just started and she wasn't listed off as one of the dead tributes. She doesn't have the snake anymore, if you're wondering, but she's still alive. Also, something I noticed is like the 50th Hunger Games are like top tier working class consciousness. Like, it's never been better, it's never been greater. Like, every single they call the alliance they have that opposes the Koreans the newcomers, at least in the German version. and they support each other so much. Like they refuse to bad talk each other or say anything negative. Or like Caesar Flickerman, he's really mean in this book, which I didn't expect. Um, but they refuse to let Caesar talk them down, um, which I love. You know, it's like no matter where we're from, no matter what work we do, we're all the same, and we should support each other. Also, something that I get from this book, the rebellion was unavoidable. There was no way in hell the capital would have been able to run the Hunger Games for like what, like 500,000 years. Like even in the 50th book, a 50th book, like even in the 50th games, no one likes the games. No one wants him to continue, and everyone's already in on a plan. Sorry, to destroy the arena. Also, because of Plutarch, number one has an old friend in 12. I wonder if we're ever going to meet him. And number two is a rebel. Like, I don't know if this has to do with the fact that before him, like, all the heavens bees are for presidents, probably, and Snow is, and that Plutarch is pissy about that. Or because he's just such much of a stand up guy who doesn't want people to suffer. Also, what I thought was really funny is Plutarch mentions a technology that could replace anything and anyone, and that they lost that this technology, or that it was forbidden because it could have destroyed humanity. Something tells me Suzanne might perhaps not be the greatest fan of AI. The thing that they were planning of like flooding the arena, it didn't work. Like I expected something to go wrong, but that he actually goes through with the plan, but that the capital has like a backup generator. It's not what I thought. Not what I thought. The thing is, I'm like pretty far into the book now, and Haymit's just met Maisie Lee, just like re-encountered Maisie Lee, so I don't really know what's going to happen, because the thing about Ballot was that there was just so much that was thrown at you, so much new information that was learned, but we already know what happens in the 50th Hunger Games. Like Katniss and Peter, they watch it in Catching Fire, and so far I'm not really sure why this book as it exists now was really necessary, right? Like I can see concepts, what perhaps led to Suzanne thinking she wants to write this book. The whole thing about like rebellion was always inevitable, and the 50th Hunger Games were like the failed rebellion that we saw in the original trilogy. So there are again a lot of cool concepts. I'm not really sure though, like I'm not really sure the concept as they are presented in the book really make them have the impact that they are supposed to have. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm proven wrong about this. Let's see what the rest of the book holds. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. I'm finished. I don't know if you can notice, but I cried at the end. Not very proud of that, but I guess I have to live with that. So how does this book end? Well, in Catching Fire, Katniss and Peter watch a summary of Himch's games. It's, the annual summary the Capitol does of every single Hunger Game. And here in Sunrise on the Reaping, we find out that the summary the Capitol did of the 50th Games was flawed and manipulated. They present Haymitch as like a very self-centered guy who doesn't really care about others, and who breaks off his alliance with Maisie Lee because he just wants to do his own thing and doesn't really want to listen to her. And they also don't really. We also learn a bit more about the other tributes and how they're presented in the summary in this book also. And it's like they're presented as like weak, meek, very small and then very powerful. They and also except for the careers, which they in the summary present as more powerful. And this is a lie. In truth, most of the districts formed an alliance, like a really huge alliance of like almost 2/3 of the entire field, and they planned to kill off all the careers, because numbers over strength, right? Um, they weren't able to do that because the arena was really, really dangerous, and also the careers were obviously very strong. Um, and the thing about Hamish was he was actually part of that alliance. He really wanted to help people. Um, Again, I mentioned Lulu and Luella. He loved both of these girls. He tried to protect them. He tried to protect Ampert, um, and I forgot. Yeah, and Welly. Um, she was one of the other district girls. I forgot the exact number of her district. Um, and he really wanted to protect them all. And he also was a rebel, even if he wasn't connected to District 13 just yet. He, together with like Plutarch and BT, tried to blow up the arena. First tried to, flood it and then blow up the generator. He didn't succeed at, disrupting the games. So he let Snow manipulate him. Snow killed his family, poisoned his girlfriend, Lenore Dove, and so Hamish fell into submission because it was easier, because he didn't have the strength to actually stand up until Katniss. And, this is kind of what this book is all about, right? We saw the propaganda version, and here, no matter how similar it is, there are enough differences that we see, right, this is the real story. This is what actually happened. And the fact that these two viewpoints, essentially, like the real story and then what we read in Catching Fire, are so different, that's the point. That, this is how propaganda works. Is it a 5-star read? I don't know. I mean, Suzanne Collins' books have always been pretty easy for me to read, and this was no exception. I guess I would have just wished for a bit more in-depth stuff. I would have wished, to go past the games and to actually see Hamish mentoring some of the tributes, to see how in the years that follow his Hunger Games and in the ones leading up to Katniss and Peter's games, he fell more and more into this submission to the capital because he just found it easier than trying to rebel again. Do you have anything else to say? No, I don't think so. I liked reading it. I especially liked doing this video. This was a first for me. I like, I've never in my life I've been so excited for the release of a book. I've looked forward to the release of TV shows and movies, but like never a book, and I never woke up early to get the ebook as soon as possible and just sit down and just read, continue to read, never stop reading until I finish the book. So I guess for this, it holds value to me. I talked to my sister about my initial thoughts of the book, and she was like, "You're probably one of the first people in the world to finish reading this book." And you know what? She's probably right, because I live in Europe, and so when I woke up at 5:30 in the morning to buy and download the ebook, that was still like essentially yesterday for the US, which is probably like Suzanne Collins' biggest market. I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but the epilogue is, as many theorized and hoped to be, about Haymitch's love with Katniss and Peeta, and about how he's glad he powered through because now he finally got to see the sunrise on his birthday without the reaping. He also, oh my god, the geese he holds at the end, the geese he owns at the end of Mockingjay, Katniss gifts him those. And I don't 100% remember the order, but I believe the implication is like Haymitch tells Katniss about Lenore Dove and the geese she held, And then Katniss shows up at his door with geese eggs and tells him, "They're not for eating, you're gonna raise them." This is where I started crying, by the way. I'm not well. This book destroyed me. Let's hope I'm at least correct with like my final theory that we'll get a third book in this like semi-trilogy. I believe it will be about Finnick. I hope it's about Annie. This is, by the way, not me saying that we need another Hunger Games book. It's just me saying that if we get another one, I would like it to be very much about Annie. Also, there's yet another Katniss mention in this book because Haymitch drops his backpack in the arena and a bunch of Katniss flowers at one point. So, Katniss mention